So I told him that this stupid movie deserves way less than 3 stars because it's just so freaking terrible. And I just think, hey, Arlo.
It's Britney, bitch.
I'm a lesbian. Hey guys, it's Dog and a Half.
I'm
Dog.
full.
Dog and Fox. It's Dog and Fox now, apparently.
This is MOXIE.
I'm Moxie. I am an Australian Shepherd. I'm a lesbian, and I'm a rootin' tootin' cowgirl. Yeehaw! And this is not a permanent change. I just wanted to show you guys my new suit. The head's made by, it's probably Mars, and the rest of the parts that I have are made by Immortal Fursuits. I'll link them down below. But just wanted to show you guys, it's a special episode to show her off and introduce new Arlo.
Oh yeah, I also have an update. I have this new bandana I made myself, and
Not new.
that is. This is the newest thing, and nothing else is new.
Oh, okay.
Nothing has changed. Everything is fine. What? I'm just kidding. This is my newest suit, and it's actually made by the same maker of Realistic Arlo. And I decided that all my friends have 2D suits, and I felt left out. And I also really like foam heads over resin. So I decided to commission her, and she made this beautiful suit.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys can see in the background over here, but we have our mini versions of our suits over here. We got mini backpack version of Moxie that Arlo and a bunch of my friends commissioned for me for my birthday. And we got mini Arlo. Love you too.
It's made by the same person, Wonderland Arts.
On Facebook. Lindsay Davis, I think?
Yep.
Lindsay Davis.
They have
Wonderland.
a separate business account now. That's Wonderland Arts.
Yeah. Well, we'll link it down below if you guys want to check it out. Highly recommend it. Very, very durable and cute. Love them.
Yes. This toy has survived kids pulling at every appendage of his body. And they ran into a wedding with him. He has crashed a wedding.
What a legend!
For some reason, there was a wedding at the same weekend as Furry Siesta. And
there were several children running about the hotel lobby just playing with furries. It was very interesting.
yeah, just this one kid really liked him. He just grabbed him and ran into the wedding hall, and I thought I'd never see him again.
It was at Furry Siesta this year. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, go back in the back a bit.
Okay. So my second job was at a boba tea place, and I worked there for 2 whole days.
Yay!
So the first day was great. I got to watch Netflix with the other coworkers and learn how to make drinks, and that was that. The second day, however, was when I worked with the owner. So he was this kind of middle-aged Korean man. And his teeth were not very well taken care of, which is, it's whatever. I'll mention that why I tell you that later. But, so the whole time, he just kept going up to me and he was just like, clean the counters! clean the counters. And I was like, okay. I literally cleaned the same spot for like 10 minutes. And that was what I was doing when everything went down. So this tall white guy comes in with his toddler, and he's holding the toddler, and he goes directly to the bathroom. And I'm just wiping the counter. They finish their business, and excuse me. Excuse me. So he finishes his business and walks out, and he's about to walk out the door, and then my boss was like, next time you want to use the restroom, ask. It's more polite. And then the guy turns around, and he's like, okay. And he leaves. And then he stops outside. So the storefront is just all glass, and it's just a small little store, and the whole front is just glass, and the parking spots are right in front of the door. It's just in this plaza. Hey, Mom.
Hey.
And
Please don't cut that out.
this is what your college student does.
Yay.
So,
You didn't say anything.
oh yeah, so the guy is walking outside, he stops in his track, and he turns around, and he walks back in. He's still holding his toddler, and he's like, you know what? I don't need to do that. This is America. I can go to the restroom when I want. And then
You can't in like every other state.
my boss is just like, no, this is my shop, and asking is more polite. Use the restroom. You should buy something before you use the restroom. So they were just going at it. This guy just starts cussing. He's like, you know what? Fuck you and your fucked up teeth. And I was like, oh shit. There. And I just standing behind the counter with just an apron on. And that was the only thing you had to wear. You could wear whatever you want, but you just had to wear an apron over it. And that was like what you had to wear. I'm just sitting there still wiping that same spot, and I'm like, oh. And then so the guy still he's cussing in front of this poor child, and then he looks at the guy and he's like, oh, put down my child, I'll fight you. And I was like, oh my god. So then they finally the owner starts getting on his phone. He's like, I'm gonna call 911 if you don't leave. And the guy finally leaves. And I didn't say anything this whole time. I was just watching. And I was like 17 at this point. And my boss just gets up, walks away, and walks out the front door. His car is parked right in front of the shop. Gets in his car, screeches out of the parking lot, and fucking leaves. This was my second day. I had worked there for max 8 hours, and I was all alone. So then customers start coming in.
Yeah.
I looked at them, and I was like, I've only worked here for a day. I can make you this drink or this drink, and I don't know how to use the cash register for cards, so are you paying with cash? And they're like, yeah, we have cards. And I was like, okay. And I just gave them free drinks.
Yikes.
And then, like, 30 minutes, I texted my boyfriend, I'm like, I don't know how to run this shop. And he's like, do you want me to come and help? And I was like, I don't know. And then he finally gets back, and he's all angry, and he just yells at me to, like, clean the counters again. And I'm like, okay. And,
Yikes.
and that was that. I texted the girl that I worked with the first day, like, I'm not coming back.
You said that, didn't you say, like, your mom was making you quit because of school?
Yeah. I made up some lie.
God.
And that guy, I still go there sometimes. I have to work at the courage to go there. I used to send my boyfriend to go in there to get me drinks because the drinks were still good. But every time we walked in, he'd always be playing some, like, child game, like Club Penguin was always, like, on his computer.
I always see it. Sometimes I see him playing, like, Candy Crush or Tetris on his laptop, too.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I'm sure he's very sad that Club Penguin's closed now.
Yeah.
Rip Club Penguin.
Rip.
So this next story is when I was working as a kennel tech at our dog job, And so, but we had to. We were doing the last round of pottying the dogs for the night before we got to leave. It was just me and this one other coworker, who was like a complete fucking stoner. He sounded like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He got fired after like a week because his work ethic was terrible. But he was pretty fun, but he got fired because he was terrible at the job and he wasn't really wanting to learn. He was really lazy. Anyway, not relevant. We're taking out the dogs. You know, we're pottying them for like 5 minutes each and cleaning up everything for the night. At some point I brought in one of the puppies, Lulu. She's this cute little Labradoodle. I was in a bit of a rush because I don't actually remember, but I was in a rush to do something. So when I put her back in her kennel, I think I didn't latch both of the things at the front of the door. I only latched one of them, but I didn't notice. So I went back outside and I went to go talk to my coworker about something. He was outside with a German Shepherd, this like really aggressive German Shepherd. It was a dog training place for reference. We were trying to train him to not be as aggressive. But at this point, he was still aggressive. Couldn't be around the other dogs. Oh yeah, that's why I had to get Lulu in, because he couldn't be around any of the dogs. I think it was Mosey. So he was walking this shepherd outside, and I was walking with him or whatever. And as we're bringing him, or as he brings Mosey up inside, or he's getting ready to, he immediately leaves the door closed and looks at me and he goes, "Lulu's loose." And I was like, "What?" And he's like running around the kennel. And I was like, fuck, I didn't close her thing all the way. So I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot to latch it on all the way. So I'm like, okay, you stay out here with Mosey. I'm gonna go in and wrangle Lulu. And he's like, okay, got it. So he's standing outside in the dark as I go inside, and I see Lulu, this little puppy, just running around the office at the time of her life. And I was like, "Lulu, come here!" And she's like, "Woo!" She's like running around. I was like, "No, come back!" So I went and got some treats from the fridge, and I like got her to come to me, the treats, and I just picked her up, scooped her up, put her back in the kennel, and then I closed it, and then he got to put Mosey back. So yeah. Lulu's a wild little puppy. Love her. Let's include a picture of her in the video. Look. Oh. Tell the story again for the third time. When I worked at the movie theater, I would sometimes get scheduled ush, which is where you go to theaters between movies and clean. You bring a whole team in, you clean up the theater before the next movie, you know, whatever. So I go in one time and the job is so boring. We have to find stuff to do to keep ourselves entertained. So we mess around, no one was in there, we just mess around as us employees. And I was messing around with my friend Kay, and he goes down towards, like we were like broom fighting with our little brooms that we have. He goes on towards the bottom of the theater, right? And I throw my broom at him. It was not anywhere near projectile range of anything valuable, but of course the angle that I projected it at, it bounced, it ricocheted off one of the theater chairs straight into the movie screen. Which, by the way, was a very valuable movie screen because it played 3D movies. We're like, oh shit. And we're immediately like, oh shit, don't tell anyone. Except one of the employees with us was intellectually challenged. And so of course we were expecting that he was going to be the first one to rat me out. But we tried our best to get him not to. So no one noticed the hole for like the entire day somehow, because it was like below the part where the actual movie's showing. There's a little hole in the screen, so it wasn't that noticeable during the movie, but it's still pretty noticeable. Someone called down to GM the next day when I was ushing in there. What are you doing?
Something in your ear.
Oh, thank you. So the GM comes down and he looks at the hole and he immediately goes, "This is made by a broom." And I was like, "Fuck." And I was like, "Shit." And I look at all of the employees and we're like, "Shh." And we're like giving each other the look like, "Fuck." Oh no, don't say anything. And he goes up to us, the GM, and he's like, "So, whoever did this, I want you to tell me now before this gets into a whole ugly sort of mess. Just come forward now, come clean." And I was so close to, but everyone was giving me that look like, don't fucking tell him, don't do it. And I was like, ugh. So I didn't. I got cold feet. The next few days, I was so stressed I could barely eat or sleep at all. By the way, 2 weeks went by where they didn't know who it was. They didn't find out until 2 weeks later when I was at an anime convention. They were doing interviews with the staff that day for in a big old investigation to find out who did it. The intellectually challenged employee ended up telling them. So Arlo ended up calling me while I was in my hotel for this anime convention and told me that they found out that it was me and that I need to come clean and tell them before they tell me that they know it was me, so that I'd be in slightly less trouble. So I was like, okay. And this whole time, Kaleo, who was a manager, I hadn't told him because I knew that if I told him, he'd have to tell the other managers. It's his job. So he found out, and he called me a little after Arlo did, sorry. And he's like, "Hey, so I just want to be clear to you, just without mentioning any details, next time you come into work, I want you to be 100% honest. Hint, hint." And I was like, "Okay, hint taken. Thank you, Kaleo." And so after the convention's over, I go to work, and none of the managers mentioned this to me the entire day, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I was expecting them to talk to me about it. Next day, I come into work. They still hadn't mentioned it to me, and I was like, I wonder why they're taking so long. So Kaleo tells me that I should just go up to the manager's office and let them know myself before they come to me. So I was like, okay. So I go up to the office and I go talk to the GM. I'm like, "Hey, it was me who did it. I was going to tell you right away because I felt terrible and it was an accident, but everyone was telling me not to. I don't know. I just did it." And I was like, "I'm really sorry. I didn't do it on purpose, And he was like, "All right, well," he was like, "my boss already knows that it was an employee and they want you fired. But here's the thing, the movie screen is $8,000, which made me visibly cringe. And he was like, "But we already replaced it, and you didn't do it on purpose. It was an honest accident, and you came forward yourself and told me, so we're just gonna let the situation cruise on by."
Did he actually say that?
He said something to that effect. I can't remember.
This was a year ago, right?
Yeah, it was a year ago. GM was my Lord and Savior that day.
He's a really nice dude. He's not
he
evil.
was. Yeah, he's really cool. But he not only did he save me from having to pay the $8,000 I did not have in my bank account to the movie theater, he also did not fire me. So I got to keep my job. And
so he quit a month later.
I quit a month later because I found a different job. But, yeah. From then on, I was known as the girl who broke the movie screen by all the employees, and they all made fun of me. Yay! Alright, so, we have one final story for y'all.
So, our last job together was
The dog film.
kennel pet film. So I got fired. While our MOXIE quit. So
I quoted Fall Out Boy as I quit too. It was very magical, if I do say so myself.
The reason, sorry. I guess a quick reason why I was fired the payroll was updated to online to where you can actually view your payment information, while before it was the old check-in style with the slip. So you never really actually got to review your pay stub. And I wasn't like calling her out saying, "You're not paying me enough." I just wanted to see my information like the rest of my coworkers.
Yeah.
So I kept asking her to like put me on the system because she did, but she didn't enter in my information right, so it wasn't working.
Yeah, she did the same for me too, and I corrected the information that it was fine that was online. I don't know why she couldn't be arsed to take like the 5 minutes it took to correct your information on it.
Yeah.
She's just too lazy.
So I kept asking her for weeks, and she wasn't ever doing it, and it was getting on my nerves. And so finally, and also there's other issues like overworking us. They would put one person to open in the morning,
And one person to close at night for 20 dogs at the kennel.
yeah, it was
Usually,
ridiculous.
Like one person is enough to handle maybe like 10 dogs, like by themselves. But 20 dogs? That was, oh my god, that was a lot even for 2 people.
Yeah.
She was completely overworking us.
So I texted her one day, and I was like, if you don't update my information online, I'm not coming in my next shift. And she just fired me right there.
Yeah.
I was like, I still have the key to the place, like.
I threw mine out. Yeah, and the reason I quit is because of, well, those reasons, and she was, oh yeah, when Arlo quit, we know that our boss is really paranoid.
Oh yeah,
Right, like,
can I interrupt you real quick? Just to go on that. When she texted me, she was like, I need my staff members to be reliable. I ended the text with, well, good luck with your trusty staff. And I think that really paranoid her.
Yeah.
And it probably affected you.
It definitely did. She was paranoid about us workers that had been there since the last boss was still there, which we'll explain in a second. But so she started purging all the staff that were there from back when the old boss was also there, which included one of her main office person, who always stayed out of trouble, and she was very reliable.
She got the clients in.
She was the one doing most of the boss's work. Boss just decided to let her go, and that was my last straw. So I was like, this job's just gonna get worse from here. So, and plus, the boss was giving me absolutely no hours. I was not on the schedule anymore, and I asked her to give me more hours, and she kept saying, oh, look into it or whatever, and she never did. And whenever I would ask the other asshole employees if I could have some of their shifts, they wouldn't let me. The newer employees from not from the old boss. So they would never let me have their shifts, and I was like, fucking okay, bye. I quit, and then the last employee that was there from the old boss quit the next week because he couldn't take it because they were overscheduling him, and he was tired of it, and it was just a really depressing environment after that.
Yeah. It was especially depressing because we used to like dedicate a lot of time to like walking the dogs and exercising them, because a lot of times they wouldn't even be trained and they wouldn't even be taken out that day. So
Yeah.
they need, and they're not in like, they're in kennels, like small kennels. They don't have like nice rooms like a lot of other boarding places. So they sit there for hours, and we used to be able to take them out and play with them a lot, but as she stopped scheduling many people to work and started taking in more and more dogs, we had zero time to spend with the dogs. And the dogs became more like objects to get done than actual like living beings.
And they were getting really stressed out obviously from being in the kennels all day. So they just, like, the entire environment was just shit. All the employees were stressed out, all the dogs were stressed out. It was terrible.
Yeah. It used to be good.
Yeah, so it used to be good. Back last year when we started working there, there were 2 bosses. The boss that fired Arlo was Tara, and the old boss that used to work with Tara was Sally. When we first started working there a year ago, it was both Tara and Sally working there, you know, side by side. Sally did the majority of the work there, even though she signed up to be a boss there. when she first started working there with Tara, she agreed that she wouldn't be paid, but she would just train the dogs for fun, because it was something she enjoyed doing. And Tara would handle all the business sides of things. Well, Tara wasn't holding up her end of the deal, and Sally ended up doing all the work for the business, while Tara just reaped all the cash from it, and was barely even there. So that led to some infighting with them, and eventually Sally said, you know what, if you're not going to pay me, then I'm just going to go. So Tara was like, fucking bye. So Sally left. That led to a significant decrease in the amount of business we got. We literally had like 3 to 4 dogs for like a month. And they weren't getting trained, and barely anything was going on. Because Tara is a piece of shit that is very lazy, doesn't like to hold up her business. She had at least 7 businesses before this business that she had started. They all failed. Wonder why.
So all this happened, and I was still. We also had another coworker. I'll refer to her as M. She was great, and she was really close to Sally. She also got fired, and I kept in contact with both of them because they're great, and they actually got me my new job, which is one of the best jobs I've ever had. Recently, a few weeks ago, Sally started contacting us again and asking us if we wanted to give a statement about the work environment to her lawyer. And we're like, whoa, what's going on? Apparently, there's a lawsuit against Tara because Tara put a lawsuit against Sally claiming that Sally was stealing money from the company.
Even though she wasn't. Like, we can vouch for this. Whenever she took the company card, it was to buy stuff for the company. We were there for all of this. Tara was never there. She was just pulling shit out of her ass just because she's a lawyer and she can. She thought she
yeah.
won it.
So, yeah, Tara's a lawyer.
I don't think she won that case.
Literally, she wasn't ever there. She had nothing. I don't know. So, now there is a lawsuit against her, and we put in our statements. And also, the guy who left, we're so close with them.
Yeah, we're so close with the other guy who left and M.
Yeah, and he also he was like, hell yeah, I'll snitch.
Yeah, we all snitched.
We were like, fuck Tara.
Dude, like, Tara's a trainer herself. She's supposed to be this was an expensive dog training place. People were paying thousands of dollars to have their dogs trained, and she was just half-assing all of it.
Yeah, they would start the last week the dog was there. And
she had a friend come in to help train, who was also a trainer to help train.
And he wasn't paid.
He wasn't being paid.
And he was abusive.
He was abusive. One time he got frustrated with a puppy, he threw him against the wall. Picked him up and threw him. And that was not okay.
Yeah. Fuck that place. I can't wait to see it close, because it will.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it already hasn't.
I'm surprised it hasn't either, because apparently, I think that the lawyer was trying to imply to me that Tara's out of money.
Yeah,
for the
that's
business.
what I got of it too. And she asked me if we saw any bills, because she would leave bills on the desk.
Yeah.
I didn't really look over them. I wish I had.
Yeah, same.
But
apparently the trainer friend of Tara chewed her out for not doing her share of the work for her own business. Oh no.
Dakota.
Go away. No one wants you here.
Alright, let's just end it.
Okay. So that's going on currently.
Yep. I'll probably update you in a future video if something ever happens, but
If anything juicy happens, I don't know if it's gonna get a trial yet.
yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Oh, my dog's walking under the camera. Okay.
So thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry we never upload.
Follow us on our Twitters. We're actually really active on our Twitters and Instagram, so feel free to shoot us a message, and we both accept commissions. Please commission MOXIE.
Please, I'm a
funny.
broke bitch, and I still can't find a job.
You will.
I know, I'm trying.
Alright, well, bye.
Bye guys, thank you.
I see you.